Hey, what is up guys? My name is Oleg, this is Mr. Bond, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to do a full review of Undone Basecamp version 2. So Undone's claim to fame is this watch right here. Vintage inspired mecha quartz chronograph. In fact, I reviewed this exact watch about a year ago or so. Well, when they reached out and offered to send in this watch right here, the Basecamp 2 for the review, we agreed because I always like to bring new watches to your attention. Full disclosure, I don't have to send this watch back. Of course, that's not going to affect the review in any way. I just want to be transparent. I wish I could give this watch a very positive review because I like giving positive reviews. It's just more enjoyable. However, I don't think I can do that with this watch. I think it's just too many little issues for me personally. With that being said, let's get started with the review. Let's start the review by looking at the case dimensions of the watch first. So the watch has a 40mm diameter. It's 47.5mm from one lug to another. It has a 20mm lug width and it's 15mm thick. And here's what the watch looks like on my 7.5-inch wrist. For the most part, the watch is comfortable, and looking at it from top down, it does look pretty good. However, as soon as you turn your wrist, you see that side profile. The watch sits, in my opinion, way too tall on the wrist. First of all, 15mm thickness is already quite thick for a watch. When you pair it with this applied Zulu strap, it becomes way too tall on the wrist, so I would instantly pair this one with the rubber strap or maybe a canvas strap for a bit of a better fit. And speaking of the Zulu strap, I really don't like this one. I don't think it's very good quality at all. It feels on the cheaper side. All the holes are not aligned properly, so they are kind of going up and down in a wave pattern. That's not a good sign. The hardware on the Zulu strap is not that good. It's a little bit too thin. Just not a good Zulu strap. So again, if you wish to buy one of these watches, I would recommend you put it on a canvas strap, maybe on a native strap, better quality Zulu strap, or even a rubber strap. This watch has an all stainless steel case with a brushed finish on top and polished finish on the sides, with a bit of a bevel on these lugs. The finish is alright, nothing to brag over, but really nothing to complain. I do have one weird and small complaint about the design of this case. If you look at the case shape, there's a small protrusion from the case by the lugs that's all polished. It kind of looks weird. I don't know why they added that part. Maybe so the distance between the case and the lugs is not so great and it's not really showing much of the strap. But to me it kind of looks weird. I don't like that part, but that's really just a subjective opinion. At the 3 o'clock position we have a screw down crown, giving this watch 200 meters of water resistance. The crown is signed with the U for Undone watches. Interesting feature of this crown is the fact that it's in this hex nut shape, very reminiscent of AP Royal Oak crowns. Now there is a reason why most crowns are round and not in this hexagon shape. It's because a round crown is much easier to use. This crown here is not the easiest to operate. It kind of gives a cool look to the watch, but usability wise, I think it takes away from the watch. Nevertheless, I'm not really going to fault Undone for this crown. I think it's a cool design feature, and even though it makes the usage of the watch a little bit more difficult, I think the upside of the design kind of offsets that. Undone Watches as a company is known to take inspiration from vintage timepieces, and this watch here is no exception. Take for example this bezel. So the bezel is a ceramic lumed bezel. However, it is bidirectional, kind of paying homage to vintage diver watches. A cool touch, and the resistance on the bezel is pretty good. I can't really fault them for this bezel. I know to some people, the bidirectional nature of this bezel will be a negative, because you can't really use it well to time things. But then again, how many people will actually be diving with this specific watch? Another vintage-inspired feature of the watch is the California dial. I reviewed a few California dialed watches on this channel, and they were always very divisive. Some people love California dials and some people absolutely hate them. I don't mind a good California dial. This one has a waffle texture, all painted on indices. The top portion of the dial has Roman numerals, the bottom portion of the dial has Arabic numerals. We have Undone written by the 6 o'clock position, 100 meters of water resistance, and automatic, also written closer to the 6 o'clock position. Notice that the logo is actually below the 6 o'clock mark, so it's not at the 12 o'clock position as it usually is. I kind of like that aesthetic. They chose to go with the set of Mercedes hands and the lollipop on the seconds hand. The lume is pretty good. Here's a lume shot. However, my copy has a weird blemish at the 12 o'clock position triangle. It's not fully lumed, or not enough layers of lume were applied evenly. So that stands out as a QC issue to me. The movement powering this watch, you probably guessed it by now, Seiko NH35, a very popular movement for a lot of micro brand watches. 24 joules, it beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour, 41 hours of power reserve, hackable and hand-windable. I have a negative in this watch using Seiko NH35 movement. Actually, two negatives. Number one, the price of the watch, which we will talk about in a minute. And number two, the fact that it has actually a ghost position. What a ghost position is, movement has a date complication. However, there is no date cutout on the dial. So essentially, when you put crown in a second position, it's just a ghost position. You change the date wheel rotates. However, there is no date cutout. So a better version of this movement would be to use Seiko NH38 movement, a bit more attention to detail, because that movement doesn't have a date wheel complication. So there is no second crown position. And I talk about this pretty much in every watch that I review that has a ghost position. Stop with the ghost positions, guys. Now let's talk about the price of this watch. So the watch is priced at $315 US. In my opinion, that's way too much for this watch. Maybe if I reviewed this watch a year and a half ago or so, when I was just starting this YouTube channel, I might have been a little bit more positive towards the watch. However, after reviewing probably hundreds of watches up to this point, reviewing dozens of micro brand watches, I know what else is available on the market. And I know that specs for money, quality for money, this watch, in my opinion, doesn't deserve the $315 price tag. If it was $70, $80, maybe even $100 cheaper, it would be a much more positive review from me. But at this point, with the Seiko NH35 movement, not a sapphire domed crystal. In fact, I think it's an acrylic crystal. They refer to this crystal as, let me read it here, polycarbonate. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I know it's not as durable or as expensive to put on a watch as a domed sapphire crystal would be. The fact that the watch has kind of a poor Zulu strap, the little quality control issue with not evenly applied lume, all of those things combined don't make this a very attractive package. It's not going to be a recommendation from me as of right now. I think it's just too expensive for what the watch offers. I appreciate you watching this video until the end. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this Undone Basecamp version 2. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you like to. That helps out quite a bit. By the way, today on my wrist, I'm wearing a different Undone watch. This one is from their Urban Vintage collection. I think it's called Killy. I did a full review of this watch about a year ago. That video can be found on the YouTube channel. I will also link it in the description below. Also in the description below, there's a secret link. Have a look if you're curious. Thanks for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had fun. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.